When you think of Sydney Sweeney, you probably picture red carpets, flawless outfits, and hit shows like Euphoria and The White Lotus. But in 2025, one simple denim ad flipped her public image upside down, and not for the reasons you'd expect. What started as a cheeky American Eagle campaign called "Sydney Sweeney Has Great Genes" exploded into one of the most talked about controversies of the year. And after months of silence, Sydney finally spoke out, and what she said might surprise you. It all began on July 23, 2025. American Eagle, known for its casual, feel-good denim vibes, dropped its big fall campaign starring none other than Sydney Sweeney. The tagline? "Sydney Sweeney has great genes." At first, fans thought it was clever, a light-hearted pun connecting the idea of great genes with Sydney's fashion sense. In the ad, she sits in a bright, sun-drenched room wearing simple blue jeans and a white tee. Her voice says softly, "Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, even eye color." Then she smirks and adds, "My genes are blue." It was short, simple, and funny. But within hours of its release, something about that line started to bother people. And what happened next turned a denim campaign into a cultural lightning rod. The pun on "jeans" and "jeans" was supposed to be witty, but online, it took on a life of its own. Some viewers pointed out how the ad's tone, clean, blonde, and retro, felt eerily similar to Brooke Shields' infamous 1980 Calvin Klein commercial where she said, "You want to know what comes between me and my Calvins? Nothing." Critics argued that American Eagle's campaign wasn't just playing with words. It was, intentionally or not, tapping into loaded ideas about good genes, inherited beauty, and even hints of genetic superiority. Comments began flooding social media accusing the brand of tone-deaf messaging and of pushing a beauty ideal that left many people out. Some users even tied the word choice to disturbing historical ideas around eugenics, the notion of selectively improving the human race through genetics. The internet doesn't let anything slide, and this time, it turned a denim joke into a national debate about race, beauty, and privilege. Within 48 hours, the backlash was everywhere. Hashtags like #GreatGenesFail and #ToneDeaf ads started trending on X and TikTok. Creators made duets dissecting the ad line by line, calling it elitist, dated, and weirdly dystopian. Some pointed out how Sydney's own look, platinum hair, blue eyes, and all-American style only amplified the genetic superiority narrative. Others argued that critics were overanalyzing what was clearly meant as a joke. Still, the outrage reached such a pitch that American Eagle had to respond. And they did, not with an apology, but with defiance. On August 1st, the brand posted to Instagram, "Sydney Sweeney has great genes is, and always was, about the genes. Her genes. Her story. We'll continue to celebrate how everyone wears AE jeans with confidence, their way." In other words, they weren't backing down. But by then, the conversation had already evolved into something much bigger, especially once politics got involved. By late August, the story took a turn no one expected. While reporters were covering a campaign event in Pennsylvania, former President Donald Trump was asked what he thought about the ad, and his response shocked everyone. He grinned and said, "She's a registered Republican? Oh, now I love her ad." That one comment lit up the political internet. Suddenly, a jeans commercial had been pulled straight into the culture war. Conservative commentators began praising Sweeney as a bold, unapologetic American. Meanwhile, progressive circles criticized Trump for politicizing an ad that, up to that point, had nothing to do with politics. Then came reports that American Eagle stock price had actually climbed following all the publicity, proving once again that controversy can be good for business. But in the middle of all the noise, one person stayed completely silent, Sydney Sweeney herself. Until November. For months, fans wondered what she thought of the chaos swirling around her. Was she embarrassed? Angry? Unbothered? Then, in her GQ Men of the Year interview published November 4th, Sydney finally broke her silence. When asked if she was surprised by the backlash, she laughed and said, "I did a jean ad. The reaction definitely was a surprise, but I love jeans. All I wear are jeans. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt every day of my life." In other words, she wasn't losing sleep over it. When GQ pressed her about Trump's comments, she called the moment surreal, adding that the attention didn't affect me one way or the other. And that's what shocked people the most, not her ad, but her calmness. While the internet had been debating her motives for months, Sydney made it clear she saw the whole thing as kind of ridiculous. She wasn't angry. She wasn't apologizing. She was just living her life in jeans. But the controversy revealed something deeper about celebrity culture and how fast people can project meaning onto a simple image. By this point, the "Great Jeans" campaign had become more than a marketing story. It was a mirror reflecting how divided and reactive audiences have become. For one side, it was a lighthearted nod to denim culture. For the other, it was a tone-deaf reminder of beauty privilege and brand blindness. And in the middle stood Sydney, a young actress caught between fans who adored her and critics who accused her of symbolizing something she never intended. Marketing experts quickly jumped in. Some called it accidental genius. Others said it was a lesson in what happens when brands ignore context. After all, in 2025, every ad lives under a microscope. Even American Eagle's defense that it was just about jeans didn't end the conversation. Instead, it made people ask, can anything be just an ad anymore? Because today, even a product slogan can become political, personal, or philosophical, depending on who's watching. And maybe that's why this story lingered. Not because of what Sydney said or did, but because of what everyone else saw in her. In many ways, this was a masterclass in how fast public perception can shift. Sydney Sweeney didn't change. The jeans didn't change. But the meaning did, molded by online narratives and echo chamber outrage. For celebrities, that's the new normal. You don't need to do something scandalous. Sometimes, just existing in the wrong context can make you the center of one. And for brands, it's a reminder that clever wordplay can backfire when audiences read between the lines, especially in a world hypersensitive to subtext. Still, you can't deny that American Eagle got exactly what marketing teams dream of. Everyone was talking about them. The question is, at what cost? So, what started as a pun about denim turned into a full-blown social commentary about beauty, privilege, and perception. Sydney Sweeney handled it with poise, shrugging off the noise with a smile and moving on to her next role. But the rest of us were left with something to think about. If a jeans commercial can spark this much debate, what does that say about us, the viewers, the commenters, the culture that loves to take sides? Maybe it says that marketing has evolved into something deeper than selling clothes. Maybe it says we're all part of the story now, whether we realize it or not. Because in 2025, even a pair of jeans can become a mirror for the world we live in. And that's the real reason Sydney Sweeney's ad will be remembered. not for what it sold, but for what it revealed.